Good morning, dear children. How are you all? I hope all are fine and safe at home. Dear children, I welcome you all to Social Science online class. Standard 9, Geography, Unit 6. The topic is Man and Environment. The topic is Man and Environment. Dear children, before I could start this lesson, I would like to ask a few questions. Okay? What is environment? What is environment? Environment is a set of relationship between man and nature. Environment is a set of relationship between man and nature. Man has survived through the ages dwelling within his surroundings called environment. Okay, dear children, environment includes biotic and abiotic components. What is the meaning of biotic? Biotic means living things. Abiotic means non-living things. Now name some of the living things. Plants, animals and microorganisms. These are living things. Name some of the non-living things. Land, water, air, iron, steel, etc. Okay. Now we are going to learn more in detail about man and environment. The learning objectives of this lesson is to know the components of environment. To know the components of environment, to understand the various features of human-environment interaction, and also to know various settlement patterns, to know the different economic activities of man. Okay, here early man dependent entirely on nature for food, clothing and shelter. Not only early man, we also depending on food, clothes and shelter. Without food, we cannot live. Isn't it? And also, without clothes, we cannot live. Without shelter, we cannot live. These are the basic needs of a man. Man has enjoyed a dominant position over the other living organisms around him. Why? Because of his erect posture. P-O-S-T-U-R-E. What is the meaning of erect posture in Tamil? இப்ப மனிதர்களாகிய நாம் நிமிர்ந்த நிலையில் நிற்கிறோம். It is called erect posture. And also we have hands and intelligence. That is knowledge. If you compare to animals, it is not having erect posture, hands and intelligence, knowledge and all. Okay. From Paleolithic period to Neolithic period, man has invented wheel, fire, tools and patterns of agriculture. Okay. Which led him to improve the standard of living and also making himself technologically advanced. Okay. Next we will see classification of environment. What is that? Classification of environment. This environment classified into natural environment, human environment and man-made environment. In Tamil, இயற்கை சுற்றுச்சூழல், மனித சுற்றுச்சூழல், மனிதனால் உருவாக்கப்பட்ட சுற்றுச்சூழல். Okay, first we will see about natural environment. Already in the previous lesson we have studied about lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere. What is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the solid outer part of the earth is called lithosphere. It specifies land. Lithosphere specifies land. Next we will see what is atmosphere. What is atmosphere? A thin layer of gases surrounding the Earth's surface is called atmosphere. It specifies air. What specifies air? Atmosphere specifies air. Next we will see what is hydrosphere. The watery part of the Earth's surface is called hydrosphere. It includes oceans, seas, lakes, rivers and water vapor. This hydrosphere specifies water. Last one is biosphere. What is biosphere? Where life is exists. It is called living things, that is creature. Okay. Next we will see about human environment. What is that? Human environment. This human environment is defined as the interaction between man as an individual. Man as an individual with his family, occupation and society. If you take one man, ஒரு மனிதன் இருக்கிறான்னா ஒரு மனிதன் அவனுடைய குடும்பம், அவனுடைய வேலை, அவனுடைய சமூகம், இதை தான் குறிக்கிறது. It is also related to various cultural aspects. What are the various cultural aspects? These are the various cultural aspects: political, economic, education and religion. Okay. Next we will see about man-made environment. What is that? Man-made environment. This man-made environment has been created by man himself for the purpose of fulfilling his needs and make his life more convenient and easy. Okay. For example, here parks, bridge, road, transport, industry, buildings. Who built all this? Only man. These are the man-made things. Okay. Next we will see about population. Dear children, can you imagine a world without human being? Just a second, you imagine. Can you imagine a world without human being? Yes, human beings are important to develop the economy and society. Okay, here what is population? Population is the total number of people living together in a particular place at the given point of time is called population. Okay, next we will see natural increase. What is that? Natural increase. Population is always increasing, but only in very rare cases it may decrease. How it will be decreased? Through natural or man-made disasters such as famine, landslide, earthquake, tsunami, epidemic, then extreme weather condition and war. Okay. Next we will see population change. What is that? Population change. The population of the world, it doubled from 500 million in the year 1650. In the year 1650. At the same time, in the year 1850, it doubled in 1,000 million. How many million? 1,000 million. The projected population for 2025 and 2050 is about 8 billion or 9 billion respectively. What is that? 1 billion means equal to how many crores do you know? 1 billion equal to 100 crores. Okay. Next we will see population growth. What is that? Population growth. This population growth refers to an increase in the number of people who reside particular area during a particular period. During a particular period. Okay, next we will see about census. In Tamil, it is called Makkal Thogai Kanakkeduppu. It is an official enumeration carried out periodically. It records information about the characteristics of population such as age, sex, literacy and occupation. இப்போ ஒரு கணக்கு எடுக்க ஒரு வீட்டுக்கு வராங்கன்னா அவங்க வீட்டுக்கு வந்த பிறகு அவர்கள் என்ன எழுதுவாங்கன்னா அந்த பர்சனுடைய நேமு, அவர்களுடைய ஏஜ் என்ன, அவங்க ஃபீமேலா மேலான்றது, அவங்களுடைய படிப்பு, அவங்களுடைய ஆக்குபேஷன் தொழில் என்ன என்றது எழுதுதான் வந்து கணக்கெடுப்பு. ஓகே, here different countries of the world conduct census every 5 to 10 years as recommended by the United Nations. Okay, in India, the first census carried out in the year 1872. In India, the first census carried out in the year 1872. The Indian census is the most comprehensive source of social and economic data. Okay, next we will see Black Death. Black Death என்றது ஒரு கொள்ளை நோய். இது எங்க ஏற்பட்டதுன்னா யூரோப்பியன் கண்ட்ரீஸ். Okay, this Black Death is estimated to have killed 30 to 60% of Europe's total population during the 14th century. When it happened? During the 14th century. The dominant explanation for Black Death is attributed to the outbreak of plague. அந்த கொள்ளை நோயினுடைய பெயர் என்ன? plague என்ற நோய். Okay, next we will see distribution of population. The world population is not uniformly distributed to the following factors. What are the factors? Physical factors, historical factors and economic factors. First we will see physical factors. இயற்கை காரணிகள். First one is physical factors. Because of temperature, rainfall, soil, water, relief என்றது நிலத்தோற்றங்கள், natural vegetation, distribution of minerals and availability of energy resources. Okay, next we will see historical factors. வரலாற்று காரணிகள். Regions with historical importance, river valley civilization and war. These are the factors. Third one is economic factors. பொருளாதார காரணிகள். Here, educational institution, employment opportunities, manufacturing industry, luxurious amenities. Last one is trade and commerce. Okay, next we will see about density of population. Makkal adarthi, density of population. Here, this density of population, it refers to the number of people living per square kilometer. ஒரு ஸ்கொயர் கிலோமீட்டர்ல எவ்வளவு மக்கள் தொகை இருக்கிறதோ அதுதான் வந்து நம்ம மக்கள் தொகை என்று கூறுகிறோம். And area is said to be sparsely populated when it has a large area with less number of people. Similarly, smaller the area with a large number of people, it is said to be densely populated. அதாவது மிக பரந்த நிலப்பரப்பில் குறைந்த எண்ணிக்கையில் மக்கள் இருந்தால் அதை என்னவென்று கூறுகிறோம்? குறைந்த மக்கள் அடர்த்தி என்று கூறுகிறோம். அதே சமயம் குறைந்த நிலப்பரப்பில் அதிக எண்ணிக்கையில் மக்கள் வசித்து வந்தால் அதை என்ன என்று நம்ம கூறுகிறோம்? அதிக மக்கள் அடர்த்தி என்று கூறுகிறோம். ஓகே, now we will see human settlements. மனித குடியிருப்புகள். A settlement can be described as any temporary or permanent unit area where people live, work and lead an organized life. It may be a city, town, village or other buildings. On the basis of occupation, settlements may be classified as rural and urban settlements. ரூரல் செட்டில்மெண்ட்ஸ்ன்றது கிராம குடியிருப்பு. அர்பன் செட்டில்மெண்ட்ஸ்ன்றது நகர குடியிருப்பு. Any settlements where most of the people are engaged in primary activities. Most of the world settlements are rural, that are mostly stable and permanent. Now we will see patterns of rural settlements. First one, rectangular pattern. செவ்வக வடிவ குடியிருப்புகள். Rectangular pattern of settlements are found in plain areas or valleys. The roads are rectangular and cut each other at right angles. It is called rectangular pattern. Next one, linear patterns. நேர்கோட்டு குடியிருப்புகள். In a linear pattern, the houses are located along a road, railway line and along the edge of the river valley. Circular or semicircular pattern. வட்ட வடிவ அல்லது அரை வட்ட வடிவ குடியிருப்புகள். The pattern of settlement that is found around the lakes, ponds and sea coast are called circular or semicircular pattern. Next one, star-like patterns. நட்சத்திர வடிவ குடியிருப்புகள். Where several metalled or unmetalled roads converge. Star-shaped settlements develop. In the star-shaped settlements, houses are spread out along the sides of roads in all directions. Triangular pattern. முக்கோண வடிவ குடியிருப்புகள். Triangular patterns of rural settlements generally develop at the confluence of rivers. Next one, T-shaped, Y-shaped, cross-shaped or cruciform settlements. T-shaped settlements develop at the tri-junctions of the roads, while Y-shaped settlements emerge as the places where two roads converge with the third one. Cruciform settlements develop on the crossroads which extend in all four directions. Nebular patterns. மூலக்கரு வடிவ குடியிருப்புகள். The arrangement of roads is almost circular, which ends at the central location or nucleus of the settlement around the house of the main landlord of the village or around a mosque, temple or church. Now we will see urban settlements. நகர குடியிருப்புகள். Urban is the term related to cities and towns where people are primarily engaged in non-agricultural activities such as secondary, tertiary and quaternary activities. Urban centers are classified as towns, cities, metropolitan cities, megacities, conurbation, etc., depending on the size and the services available and the functions rendered to it. First one, see, town. A town is generally larger than a village but smaller than a city. Dear children, Tiruvannamalai is a town or city? Yes, Tiruvannamalai is a town. It has a population of less than 1 lakh. Example, Tiruvannamalai. Okay. Next we will see city, Perunagaram. Cities are much larger than towns and have a greater number of economic functions. The population in cities are estimated to be more than 1 lakh. Example, Coimbatore. Metropolitan cities, Managaram. Cities accommodating population between 10 lakhs and 50 lakhs are metropolitan cities. Example, Madurai. Mega cities, மீப்பெரும் நகரம். Cities with more than 50 lakh population are called megacity. Example, Greater Chennai. Conurbation, நகரங்களின் தொகுதி என்று கூறப்படுகிறது. A conurbation is a region comprising of a number of cities, large towns and other urban areas. Example, Delhi conurbation. Now we will see economic activities. பொருளாதார நடவடிக்கைகள். Economic activities are those efforts or actions that involve production, distribution and consumption of commodities and services at all levels within a region. There are 5 types of economic activities. They are primary activities, secondary activities, tertiary activities, quaternary activities and quinary activities. First one, primary activities. முதல் நிலை தொழில்கள். Primary activities pertain to the extraction of raw materials from the earth's surface. For example, food gathering, hunting, lumbering, fishing, mining and agriculture. Second one, secondary activities. இரண்டாம் நிலை தொழில்கள். Secondary activities transform raw materials into finished goods. For example, iron and steel industries, automobile manufacturing, etc. Third one, tertiary activities. மூன்றாம் நிலை தொழில்கள். These activities, which by themselves do not produce goods but support the process of production, are called tertiary activities. For example, transport, communication, banking, storage and trade. Quaternary activities. நான்காம் நிலை தொழில்கள். The activities related to research and development as well as knowledge are called quaternary activities. For example, services like consultation, education and banking. Quinary activities. ஐந்தாம் நிலை தொழில்கள். The activities that focus on the creation, rearrangement and interpretation of new and existing ideas are called quinary activities. It includes the highest levels of decision making in a society or economy. Example, senior business executives, scientists and policy makers in the government. We will see environmental issues. சுற்றுச்சூழல் பிரச்சனைகள். Environment is the basic life support system that provides air, water, food and land to all living organisms. But human beings degrade the environment through rapid industrialization. Some of the environmental issues are deforestation, pollution such as air, water, noise, etc., urbanization and waste disposal. Now we will see deforestation. What is deforestation? Deforestation is the cutting down of trees permanently by the people to clear forest in order to make the land available for other uses. Effects of deforestation. இதனுடைய விளைவுகள் என்ன? Deforestation results in many effects like floods and droughts, loss of soil fertility, air pollution, extinction of species, global warming, spread of deserts, depletion of water resource, melting of ice caps and glaciers, rise in sea level and depletion of ozone layer. Now we will see conservation of forest. காடுகளை பாதுகாத்தல். Conservation of forest can be done through the regulation of cutting of trees. Control over forest fire. Through regular monitoring and controlling the movement of the people, forest fire can be prevented. Proper use of forest products. We depend on forest for our survival, from the air we breathe to the wood we use. Besides providing habitats for animals and livelihoods for humans, forest products are one of the most essential things in our day-to-day life. Therefore, we must use forest products properly. Pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. Urbanization. நகரமயமாதல். Urbanization is an increase in the number of people living in towns and cities. Urbanization occurs mainly because people move from rural areas to urban areas, and it results in growth in the size of the urban population and the extent of urban areas. Waste disposal. கழிவு அகற்றுதல். What do you mean by waste disposal? The collection, processing and recycling of the waste materials of human society. The term waste is typically applied to solid waste, sewage, hazardous waste and electronic waste. Sustainable development. வளம் குன்றா வளர்ச்சி. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Why is sustainability important? வளம் குன்றா நிலை அவசியமானது ஏன்? The excessive usage of natural and man-made resources deplete its availability for the future generation. We need to look after our planet, our resources and our people to ensure that we can hand over our planet to our children to live in true sustainability. Hence, conservation and awareness are the two important terms that can bring sustainability to our living. When we use the word sustainability to mean maintain, it means to maintain it forever. This is because our actions have a lasting effect on the environment. Dear children, we should protect it for our future generation. Thank you children. God bless you all.